Hey guys, Rick from Velocity Addiction, coming back. It's been a while, I know. Been building the garage. You can see we got all LED lighting in here. Uh, New toolbox. Finally got my project car in here. It's a '85 Mustang LX. She's been sitting outside for the last 5 years, filling with water and rusting away. And a new door for the car that I've been priming and puttying and getting all ready for paint. And I have one more door down here by my feet that you can't see at the moment. Um, we've been kind of setting this up. It's taken a lot longer than I thought it would take to set up the garage. As you can see, we are not only charging the bikes with a extension cord, we're powering the whole garage off a single extension cord, which is not recommended. But it's working so far. Haven't had any issues. The only issue I have is if both my compressors kick on at the same time, it will trip the ground fault on one of the power strips. Doesn't trip the breaker, which I guess is a good thing. But everything is starting to come together. Hopefully start making some more videos for you guys. I'm going to flip the camera around and show you some of the projects that we're going to be working on. Like I said, the '85 Mustang, that's one of them. It's a little bit of a nightmare. It's a roller. There's no engine, no transmission in it. There's a long story behind that. It's been sitting for 5 years outside. That's one of the reasons why I got the garage. I'll give you a little run through of that in a little bit. So a little preview of some future projects on the channel. I picked this up today. This is a 36-inch Proboat Zelos Twin. It's brand new. Just pulled it out of the box. Let's see if I can lift this up with one hand. This is fresh out of the box. As you can see, it's got the dynamite brushless motors in there. They're 3831s, so rumor is this boat will do 80 miles an hour out of the box. We will see. I'll have to get some batteries for it. Right now I have a single 6S pack that was purchased a long time ago for my helicopter that I was just using to do some electronics testing, make sure everything lights up. But as you can see, she's starting to swell up a little bit, and it might be time for this pack to go away. I do want to get some new battery packs for the boat, and have them change all the. I'm going to change all the connectors inside the boat to XT90s and get away from the EC5s. I don't like them. This is an old project that I've had for many years. It's something that we will be doing in the future. This is a 32-inch Mystic C5000 hull. It's very lightweight. It's fiberglass. You may be able to see right in the seams here. It needs to have an inlay in it because you can see light through the seams. There's just epoxy holding the two shells together. There's no mat across it. That was a hull I bought from Japan from probably about 7 or 8 years ago. It was right when Mystic first came out with their C5000 hull. And my workbench is a bit of a mess at the moment. My Atlas drill press that my dad gave me that we're restoring. It's a beast of a drill press. It will take limbs, arms, small children in a heartbeat. Working on getting a new electric motor for it, and hopefully variable speed control for it. And from what I've seen, this machine has the strength and the power to actually do some small lightweight milling, so we may be using it for that in the future too. You can see up in the loft the JK's in the tub there. The hard body sitting up there. You can see a little bit of the roll cage peeking out between the two totes, the red and blue totes there. I started to bend it, and haven't gotten around to it because I kind of I've gotten to the point where I need to start welding it a little bit. just so it starts to become one structure, and I can start cutting extra pieces off and figuring out how I'm going to mount it to the chassis. So she's in a bit of a hold pattern right now until I get a small TIG or a small MIG welder, so we can just hook them up together and start building the roll cage out. And as you can see, there's another boat. That's a 45-inch Cyclone. It's a copy of the Aeromarine Cyclone. It's not a real thing. That boat I purchased probably about 12 years ago, and it was an eBay purchase. It was listed as an Aeromarine Cyclone. I got the thing. It is not an Aeromarine Cyclone. The deck and the hull were joint crooked, so the whole thing was tweaked and bent up out of shape. And I had a guy, John, who lives locally here. He's a avid boater, and he was building a monster at the time, and he asked me to bring it over, and he cut the deck and the hull apart for me and rejoined it properly, so it's all square now. As you can see, I just had to move it, so it's kind of sitting up there in a precarious position. It's sitting on top of the headers and the gas tank and all the interior parts for the Mustang. And over here, this is one of the one-to-one projects we're going to be working on. This is my 1980 Harley Davidson XLH. Runs awesome. Leaks a little bit of oil like every Harley does. It likes to mark its territory. But it needs to be gone through. It hasn't been touched other than regular oil changes and stuff like that. I replaced all the front brakes, all the front brake lines. Everything's done on the front end for the brakes. I need new front tire, new rear tire, and new rear brake caliper. And then change fluids and put a new battery in it. It should be roadworthy. And behind that, you can see I'm working on the door. This is the passenger door for the Mustang. It had a few issues. We had to do some mud work on it and prime it up. This is my 85 LX. Turn the AC off here. It's the 85 LX. It is a roller. There's no transmission, no engine in it. I bought it that way. It was a former race car that they raced at the drag strip, so there was no interior in it other than 2 front seats and a dashboard and carpeting. All the interior panels, trim panels, everything was stripped out of it to make it as light as possible. We are going to put some of those panels back in. You can see behind the Mustang there is a porno red panel for the rear of the car. There's another one up in the loft. There's one inside the car. So we are going to be putting the panels, some of the panels back in, but it's getting race seats. It's getting a 10-point roll cage put in it. It doesn't have any kind of roll cage in it right now. My buddy Charles put subframe connectors in it. So the car is really solid. Has a couple little rust issues. The passenger fender has some rust down in the bottom. There's a small spot in the floor that needs to be patched out, which is really easy, and we can do when we do the roll cage. As you can see, I started sanding it. It's been painted with spray paint, and I've been sanding it down. The original color is Midnight Metallic Blue, and it's under there somewhere, but there's a ton of Rust-Oleum black spray paint on this thing. And as you can see, the hood is fiberglass. It's a full lift-off hood, but it started stress cracking the paint, not the gel coat, but the paint. So I'm going through and sanding that. The hood did at one point, it was a hinged hood, which means it didn't have these pins in it. It was hinged like a regular car hood. And apparently the guy that was racing it forgot to latch the hood, so it did blow over and it broke the back corner here, and he just JB welded it back together. I don't know if it was a trackside fix or He just didn't know what he was doing. But that back corner is just JB welded together. So I gotta strip that. The JB weld is actually separating away from the glass mat, and it's not really holding anything anymore. I can take a putty knife and hit it, and it'll just fall off the hood. So we gotta fix the hood. I am keeping the hood because apparently it is a very rare hood. Nobody really knows where it came from. Nobody knows who made it. It has some things like the original hood lines from the Mustang, and then the normal cowl induction scoop on top of that. So not many hoods out there 4 and 85 that have those lines in it. So if you know who makes them and if they're still made, let me know. I would love to get a new one instead of dumping a lot of blood and sweat into repairing this one. But that's the Mustang. Seen the Harley. Got the Proboat Zelos Twin fresh out of the box. I got the Mystic 5000. The Cyclone. Not really a real Cyclone. It was actually made by somebody that copied the Cyclone and kind of changed the hull and stuff so that they could get around copyrights. So it's slightly different than a Cyclone, but for the most part it is a Cyclone. The bottom hull is almost identical. It's mostly deck changes that they did to it just to get around legalities on it. From what I remember, it was a Scorpion RC Boats, I think, made it. I'm not sure. If you didn't and you're mad at me, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you down on that. But that we actually have one more RC hull. It's an actual real Aeromarine me machine that we're going to be putting together. It's a 32-inch catamaran hull, and we're going to be putting that together and possibly racing with it. So you may see some racing videos coming out. But this is the toy at the moment. We're going to learn a little bit about boats here. We may be doing some modifications. Like I was told, this may actually do 80 miles an hour out of the box. So we'll have to see. Comes with a Spectrum DX2E transmitter. It's not the greatest transmitter, but it looks like it'll do what you need it to do. There's some upgrades probably coming for this. We may actually be upgrading the radio system in it. Maybe upgrading the Dynamite ESCs that are in it. These are, I believe, 120 amp water cooled ESCs, and probably going to be going to 180s. And I believe we may be pulling these out after we've reached their limit. Be pulling those out, putting TP power motors in there, and see if we can get this thing up into the 100 mile an hour range. And we're gonna strip. These are all stickers. They're not vinyl. They're regular stickers like you would have on an RC car. So we're gonna be peeling some of those off, probably most of those off. And I'm going to talk to my buddy who's been doing wraps for Mud Boss RC cars. See if he can do a wrap for the boat. And while he's at it, might have him do that boat as well, because that, I think, is going to be our very next project. The Cyclone was set up for gas. And in New Jersey, you cannot run an internal combustion engine on a freshwater lake. So that we were building, and I was working with a bunch of other guys that were racing RC boats around here back in the day. And I actually had a friend that had a 72-inch long cat with quad Zenoas in it. And we got told by the police we were not allowed to run them. So that boat is half done. It's got all the interior parts, all the parts are inside it. The rudder, the pickups, everything. It's almost ready to go, but can't run gas, so we may be converting that to electric as well, and running the Turnigy Aquastar, I believe it is. It's a very large motor that's built and made for 45-inch or up boats. So that may be going into this thing in the near future. But like I said, that's going to be probably the last RC boat project we do. First is this one. Then possibly either this one or the Mean Machine. Most likely the Mean Machine. That would be the cheaper one to set up next. And if we decide to go racing, that may become the priority. But I just wanted to give you guys a look at the Zelos. It is actually a really nice boat, and it's strong. It's not flexing at all. So I know they had some issues back in the beginning when they were putting this boat together, and there was problems with the hull and deck separating along the lines. This looks really clean. You can't even see where the hull and the deck are joined. But they had some issues with them separating along the seams. And from what I've seen on those, the deck was really flimsy. This one is really solid. And it's got the new motors in it. The new 80 plus capable motors, from what I hear rumor wise. So we get some batteries for it. We'll do some testing and maintenance on the boat. Get it all ready, go through it, make sure all the screws and nuts and bolts and everything's tight, and we don't need to be losing a prop shaft and a prop. And as you can see, it's got the scale rudder, scale props. So I think that's it for this time, guys. Like I said, hopefully we'll be putting up some more videos more frequently on a more of a regular basis. I know I've been gone for a while. I know you guys probably want to see more of the crawler stuff because most of you guys started with me with the crawlers. I'm kind of losing motivation for it because there's nowhere to really crawl around here. I'm in New Jersey. It's beach. Everything's beach, including my backyard. My backyard is sand, so there's no rocks, nothing to crawl on here. So I don't know what I was doing when I built a crawler. I just felt like building a crawler. At the time, I was bedbound. I was sick, so I needed something to do. And that's the bomber. Haven't had that out in a while. I'd actually like to take it out very soon here. But my buddy has my chargers and my power supplies, so I can't even charge with batteries at the moment. But I will be getting that back because I want to play with this thing. So, I'll talk to you guys later, and let me know what you think about the boats. See if you guys are interested. Bye.